Wander over yonder, in The Friendship written by Angel. She 24, a neat little town. Last time, Wander and Sylvia, two best friends who always traveled together throughout the galaxy, crash landed on a strange new planet. Trying to figure a way off this planet, the duo ran into a couple of residents who were ponies, Applejack and Applebloom. After a little misunderstanding, they eventually realized their situation and were invited to fill themselves up at their farm. Now they are on their way to the nearby town, Ponyville, where hopefully they could find some help. Sylvia was walking along the dirt path with Wander laying up top on her back, just humming while strumming his guitar. They were on their way to the town called Ponyville to see if they could find someone to help them get back to traveling together in the galaxy. Although the name of the town didn't exactly sit well in Sylvia's stomach, or maybe that was from having too much apples. Wow, today has definitely been something else so far, wouldn't you say, Sylvia? Said Wander. It's been interesting so far, I guess, and those two gals back at that farm, they were so nice and caring, you know, once they realized our situation and stuff. And plus, there was something about them that felt so Emmy. It was almost like we were kin. Gee, what gave you that idea? Sylvia knew how Wander could be if he ever got too excited, so she made sure that he was in check with her. Listen, Wander, just remember the reason of why we are going this town. We're just going there to find someone who can help us out, give us transportation, and then get off this planet. Sylvia, relax, said Wander calmly. We have plenty of time to leave. Take time to enjoy the fresh new scenery, and why don't we make more new friends while we do it? It'll be a magical experience. Sylvia just smirked as she shook her head while continuing to walk forward. As she did, Wander continued to strum his banjo while humming to himself. But suddenly, Sylvia came to a screeching halt as she looked on ahead to see an unusual sight with wide. Wander, I think we're here. Wander sat up straight and saw the marvelous sight before him. Oh, no, twinkle and stars, a bright and beautiful town filled with many pony residents like the ones they met back at the farm. Sylvia had no words to say, but as Wander stood straight up and his eyes began to sparkle, he had plenty to say. What a neat little town. There are a lot of things here. A sweet shop, a spa, a library, a park, a bowling alley, a clothes shop, an arcade, a town hall. This place is everything. But he didn't stop there. And look at all the cute ponies, Sylvia, with all of their fancy manes and beautiful colors, and it's even better than I imagined. Sylvia grabbed Wander and began to shake him. Get a hold of yourself, Wander. It's just a town filled with normal ponies and different, bright colors, just normal ponies. Said Wander in shock. Look again, Missy. Tressa pony over there lifting things with her horn, meaning she's a unicorn. And there are ponies flying right above us, which means they are Pegasi. Ponies, unicorns and Pegasi, oh ma. Just what kind of world are we in? Sylvia asked herself. But just then, she noticed something on all of the ponies that caught her attention. Wait a minute, why do they have tattoos on their butts? Indeed they do. Said Wander excitedly, and look, every single one of them is one that is completely different than all the others. Almost makes me wish that I had my own tattoo on my butt. Sylvia rolled her eyes and grabbed Wander to place him back on her back. Come on, Wander, enough joking around. Let's just go in and investigate the place to find someone who can help us. And please try to blend in. I'll do my best, Wander responded, tipping his hat. Sylvia took a deep breath, and then she set foot inside the town. She was looking all around trying to find any indication of a place to help them out in any way. But after a couple of minutes, both aliens began to notice a bunch of the ponies staring at them weirdly. All of that attention was wearing down on Sylvia's nerves. Hey, Sylvia, Wander whispered, I don't think we're blending and you don't think I know that. Sylvia whispered back. Sylvia suddenly stopped in place, and more ponies were curiously eyeing them, wondering where they came from. Oh great, what do we do now? Sylvia wondered. Suddenly, all the attention was getting to Wander, and as all those pony eyes were focused on them, he jumped at the chance and literally jumped down on the ground to greet all of them. Howdy, everyone. You don't know us, but we're Wander and Sylvia. We're aliens. All of the surrounding ponies suddenly gasped. Not to worry, we've come in peace. And to prove it, here's a little musical ditty I've been working on since I've got here. Oh boy, Sylvia thought to herself. Wander took out his banjo, tuned it out a bit, and then he let loose what was on his heart. Ooh, my little pony, won't you all come be my friend? My little pony, best friends until the end. At his end, the crowd of ponies began to applaud the little talented alien who turned out to not be frightening to them at all, and then they all went back to their original business. See that, Sylvia, Wander shouted, they loved it. They really loved it. Well, Had to admit, you definitely won their trust, Sylvia responded. I guess no one can resist your charm. What can I say? It's a gift. The two friends were on a roll, making a good first impression on this new world, but suddenly they got the attention of a certain individual. Hey you! Who said that? Said Sylvia while she and Wander looked around. I did. Suddenly, standing right in front of them was a lively pony, staring at them straight in the face with a huge, bright smile. Taken by surprise, Sylvia stepped back and fell in her behind, shouting, "Whoa, pink horse!" I'm not a horse, the pony stated. I'm a pony, silly. Although, maybe ponies and horses are the same thing. I'm not really sure. To Wander, she was definitely friendly. So he stepped down and bowed while tipping his hat in respect. Howdy, there. What brings you our way? That neat little song you just sung. It was spectacular. Wanda felt very proud hearing someone telling him that in his face. Yeah, it sure is. I made it up straight out of my head on the spot. It wasn't that big of a deal, Sylvia groaned. It was totally that big of a deal. The pink pony protested. I mean, the song had the words ponies and friends in it. How can it not be spectacular? Don't mind Sylvia, said Wanda with a smirk. She's just feeling a bit cranky from the long day we've been having. She's really a happier being once y'all get to know her, if you say so. Anyways, my name is Pinkie Pie, and I like meeting new faces. And guess what? You guys are new faces here. Welcome to Ponyville, Wanda and Sylvia. Sylvia was just sitting back and sighing, watching the two high spirits exchanging words. I love meeting new faces too. Wanda shouted, do you love to sing songs? Do I ever? Pinkie responded, want to sing another one now? No. Sylvia suddenly shouted out loud. Wanda, Pinkie and some other nearby residents looked at her, feeling a bit unnerved. Sylvia realized her outburst and just stood there completely silent. Wow, she really is cranky, said Pinkie. I think someone needs some laughter. She suddenly showed up beside Sylvia and began tickling her everywhere she could. Sylvia tried to resist, but even she couldn't hold back the laughs from hooves that were tickling her body. No, and no. Stop it please. Please, the TTT tickles, haha. She was down on the ground laughing too while Wander was nearby enjoying the amusing sight. After her tickling assault, she looked down upon Sylvia and asked, so, you feel better now, right? After calming down and brushing herself off, Sylvia responded, listen, I know you mean well, but Wander and I are in a serious bind. We have to find someone who could help us fix our ship so we can get back on the road. Well, space, or whatever really. Pinkie wondered. I figured aliens like you guys would be all like take me to your leader, or something like that. That's funny. Why would we say that? Wander questioned. Sounds a bit demanding if you ask me. Besides, Pinkie continued, why would you be in such a hurry, unless you had an important appointment or something? Stay here a while and enjoy the fresh air and wonderful friendly atmosphere of Ponyville. Wander looked up at Sylvia with a sincere expression and said, she makes a very good argument, Sylvia. I think this place is worth checking out a bit. Sylvia still wasn't so sure about go off to the side of their mission. But seeing the smiling pink pony staring at her bouncing up and down, and Wander looking up at her grinning and making little pleading noises, she just said and gave in. Well, okay, I suppose we could explore a bit, but not for too long. Suddenly, Pinkie pointed up to the sky and said, hey look, it's Rainbow Dash. Wander and Sylvia looked up and saw a Pegasus pony flying around high in the air with a rainbow trail behind her. She was doing fast movements and impressive tricks, and they were both astounded. Whoa, she's awfully fast! Shouted Wander in excitement. Sylvia placed her hands on her sides and showed a little smirk. Heh, now that's my kind of pony. Yeah, that's my best Pegasus friend, Rainbow Dash. Said Pinkie. She claims to be the fastest flyer in Ponyville, and you know what, she's totally right. What do you say that we meet her? Said Wander, lightly elbowing Sylvia to give her the hint. Huh. I don't know, Sylvia responded unsurely. But Pinkie decided to decide for them. Ooh, great idea. She'll love you guys. Hey, Rainbow Dash. After calling out loud to her friend, Rainbow Dash stopped in her tracks and looked down only to see Pinkie waving at her. She decided to fly down and see what she wanted. Hey, Pinkie Pie, what's up? Nothing much, just wanted to introduce you to these guys. Rainbow Dash looked behind Pinkie and saw two very peculiar creatures looking back at her waving. Howdy, greeted Wander. Sup, said Sylvia. Rainbow was caught off guard a bit from their strange appearance, but then she took a good look at them and became very curious of who they were. Whoa, who were they? She asked. They look real funny looking. Their names are Wander and Sylvia. Pinkie responded. They're aliens from outer space. No way, yes way, said Wander as he walked up to the rainbow mare. And may I say that was some fancy flying you were doing up there. Ain't that right, Sylvia? Yeah, that was pretty cool, said Sylvia with an impressed smile. You must have been practicing pretty hard to fly like that. Rainbow Dash felt a bit impressed herself seeing two strangers compliment her in such a way. Holding her head high, she responded, well, seeing that I have never met you guys in my life, it's pretty awesome to hear you two say that. And besides, that was nothing. I'm only going to get better and faster. Go dashing! Shouted Pinky. Sylvia suddenly noticed the rainbow-colored lightning bolt mark on Rainbow's flank, and a curious thought of it came back to her mind. By the way, we were sorta curious about the, Sylvia awkwardly pointed Rainbow and Pinky and then pointed at her own behind. Pinky realized what she was saying and shouted, oh, you mean our cutie marks? While shaking her flank excitedly. Cutie marks? Said Sylvia hesitantly. Wonder squished his cheeks together and lightly squeaked in excitement, saying, that name sounds so freaking adorable. Hey, call it adorable if you want, said Rainbow, but these marks are more than just a fashion statement. They are a representation of who we are, our special talent. Sylvia scratched her head trying to gain a complete understanding of this concept. So, you have those on your butts the very moment you're born? Heck no, said Pinky, we're born with flanks that are blank. It's only when we discover our special talent in life that we receive these babies. Wow, said Wonder, tattoos that literally magically appear on your butt is awesome and weird, added Sylvia. Pinky then explained a little bit more. A neat thing is that every pony's mark is completely different. Sure, some may look a little similar to other, but they still have different meaning. Mine stands for how much I love to fly fast, said Rainbow, and that I'm always loyal to my friends. And I just love to a lot and throw extra fun parties for ponies all over Equestria, said Pinky very loudly. Seeing her attitude and her cutie mark, Sylvia just said, imagine that. Ooh, if I was a pony, said Wonder, I wonder what my cutie mark would be. Maybe a star, a shooting star, or maybe my special little hat. Never go anywhere without it. Rainbow looked at the little alien arching her eyebrow. He definitely reminded her of a certain some pony. She then brushed that thought to the side and asked, so aside from all of this, are you guys here for any specific reason? We're just looking for someone to help us with our ship so we can be on our way, Sylvia answered. Rainbow remembered seeing something falling from the sky earlier during one of her flight sessions, and now she understands. Huh, so that's what the hunk of junk that fell from the sky was. It didn't seem that their conversation was going to go on any longer. That is until Wonder suddenly shouted, ooh. What is it now, Wonder? Sylvia sighed. Well, if it's true and a pony's mark represents who they are, seeing that all of you ponies seem pretty friendly, like, is there possibly any pony who maybe has a mark for being the very, very, very kingest of all ponies? Sylvia glared down at Wonder and stated, are you serious? Wonder nodded with a smirk. Oh, I'm dead serious. Well, I don't know if there is some pony with a talent like that in all Equestria, said Rainbow. However, there's a friend of ours who lives here and many consider her to be the kindest pony in Ponyville. I knew it. Wonder shouted in excitement, what's her name? Fluttershy, Pinky responded. Fluttershy, said Sylvia coyly, and let me guess, is she very shy? Yeah, Pinky gasped, how did you know? Sylvia just groaned and slapped herself in the face. Come on, Sylvia, said Wonder, pulling on Sylvia's leg and looking up at this Fluttershy. She sounds like the kind of pony I want to meet. Don't you want to meet her? I don't know, said Sylvia sarcastically. Are you sure she won't scream and run the minute she sees us? I wouldn't be surprised if she did, said Rainbow, lightly chuckling to herself, but Fluttershy can usually sense if a creature is nice or not. Go see her and find out for yourselves. I'm sure she wouldn't mind meeting two strangers from space. Where is she? Wonder asked. She's a yellow Pegasus with a pink mane and cute little butterflies on her flank, Pinky answered. I don't know where I saw her last, but her cottage where she lives is just in that direction towards the creepy forest. I wouldn't recommend going all the way though. It's not very safe knowing all of the dangers that they faced in the past. Those words didn't faze Sylvia a bit. We'll keep that in mind. Wonder was so excited, with a bright smile on his face and his whole body. Ooh, I can hardly wait. Meeting the sweetest and kindest pony in this here town is something I would simply adore. Well, have fun, said Rainbow, flapping our wings. I gotta fly. My flying skills don't get more awesome by themselves, you know. Rainbow took off into the skies, leaving a gust of wind in her leave. Wonder and Sylvia both watched as she did a couple of loops upward, and then when she was high enough burst off with a sonic rainbow that blew them both away. Awesome, a sonic rainbow, shouted Pinky. You guys have witnessed that firsthand. She's gotten really good at doing that. Sylvia realized that the citizens of this world so far was more impressive than she thought. I guess there is more to you ponies than looking pretty and having tattoos on your butts. Pinky laughed and snorted at Sylvia's comment. You're really funny, you know that. I told you she was more of a happier being than she lets on, said Wonder. Sylvia rolled her eyes and slung Wonder over her and onto the saddle on her back. Enough of this, Wonder. Come on, let go meet this Fluttershy, and then we can continue our original mission. No more distractions alrighty then, Wanda responded, but I can't make any promises. And then, he gave her a wink. Sure ya can't. Wanda turned around and waved back at Pinky wildly. See ya, Miss Pinky. May our paths cross again. Pinky smiled and waved back at the alien duo as they wandered off in the direction of the nearby forest. Pinky was glad to make a couple of new friends today, even though they were from outer space. Boy, all of this excitement has got me hungry. Nothing that a good ale cupcake wouldn't fix. In an open-spaced area near Sweet Apple Acres, Alicorn Princess, Twilight Sparkle and her assistant, Spike the Dragon were standing atop a small hill looking down at a huge crater in the ground with metallic pieces lying all around it. There it is, said Twilight. I thought it landed near here. What do you suppose it is, Twilight? Questioned Spike, scratching his head. Some kind of ship. Perhaps, but where did it come from? It came from space, shouted a young voice nearby. Both Twilight and Spike turned around and saw Applejack and her young sister, Apple Bloom, coming towards them, curious of what they were up to. Huh, Apple Bloom, Applejack. Howdy, Tui, said Applejack, doing a little investigation. Did we hear Apple Bloom right? Said Spike. Did she said that this ship came from space, as in from the outside of this world? Apple Bloom smiled and nodded. I sure did. Aliens came aboard of the 10, and Applejack and I met them. Twilight and Spike's eyes widened hearing the words that Apple Bloom spoke. Twilight knew that moments like this never seemed very possible to them. But was it a good thing or a bad thing? What, you two met real live aliens? Twilight shouted. Not to worry, Applejack stated, they're really a couple of nice space critters. They went into town to see if they could find some pony to help them in their situation. Although, I don't know if an pony in Ponyville is skilled enough to work with us, that's for sure, added Apple Bloom. As they all looked down at the wreckage below, all Spike could say was, and here I thought today was going to be boring. Guess I was wrong.